We're so messed up in the head, right, that the moment I tell you you're an Israelite, you already wanna come at me and think that I'm your enemy because I tell you you're an Israelite. Because I tell you you're God's chosen people. You know what I mean? That you're the Lord's favorite people, and automatically a lot of y'all think we on something negative.
Ya, esta sí la vamos a hacer así bien chula.
Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Un pueblo. No está hablando de los chinos, no está hablando de los árabes, no está hablando de los japoneses, de nosotros. Nosotros somos la gente más odiada en este mundo, más odiada. Y toda la gente de
Ce que tes ancêtres ont fait aux Noirs et aux Indiens d'Amérique?
Oui, je le suis.
Très bien, nous allons donc lire ce qu'il faut faire dans la Bible. Pour commencer, tu dois te mettre à genoux.
Ces hommes que l'on voit sur la vidéo sont en fait des membres de l'ISUPK, en anglais The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Il s'agit d'une branche radicale du mouvement des Hébreux noirs israélites. Né à la fin du 19e siècle, il fédère des Afro-Américains qui se considèrent comme les vrais descendants des 12 tribus d'Israël. Et la particularité de l'ISUPK, c'est que ce sont des suprémacistes noirs.
Leur message est le suivant. Les Blancs sont diaboliques, les Noirs sont le peuple élu d'Israël, les Juifs sont des menteurs, et les homosexuels doivent être condamnés à mort. C'est un groupe très hostile, très dans la confrontation, avec ses propres priorités. Ça n'a rien à voir avec Black Lives Matter.
Ils ne représentent que quelques centaines de personnes. Ces scènes de confrontation dans la rue sont typiques de leur manière de prêcher. Et comme les militants de l'ISUPK sont particulièrement actifs sur les réseaux sociaux, ils n'hésitent pas à publier leurs faits d'armes sur YouTube. Cette vidéo, par exemple, a fait 1 million de vues après avoir été partagée par un chroniqueur américain de droite.
Here it is, right here. There you go. Mr. White Man, get these white women and get these white people a hand, man.
Ces discours haineux sont légaux aux États-Unis car protégés par le premier amendement de la Constitution. N'empêche qu'ils sont quand même dénoncés par d'autres Afro-Américains, parfois du même mouvement.
Regardez l'activité démoniaque de ces frères hébreux dans la rue, qui prêchent la haine au nom de Dieu.
Il faut les nommer. Les militants de l'ISUPK sont des racistes noirs.
En résumé, ces vidéos de personnes blanches embrassant les pieds de personnes noires n'ont rien à voir avec Black Lives Matter. Ce sont en fait d'anciennes vidéos liées à des extrémistes
That's true. They are trying to, suppress our mental health. I mean, oppression will do that, right? As the scriptures say, right? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, right? And then, the Lord, one of the curses was that we're gonna be, struck down with madness, right? Our mental health is at risk because we're oppressed, and we get, we go through all types of hell here in America. We got all types of madness thrown on us, right? We're told we're not allowed to get angry about the oppression that America does to us. We have to accept the abuse, right, and be thankful for it. We can never hate our oppressor. So you can only imagine the effect that has on your mental health.
Yeah, what's going on with the feed? Hey, Shalom Yabasha Shabbat Thumb. Yawashma Thumb Bashim Yawashai. Give me 1 second. What's going on with the feed? Da da da. I think Malakma needs to fix this. Okay.
Hey, Shalom Yabashir
Thumb Yawashma Thumb Bashim Yawashai. Shout out Sister Mariam Yashikar in the chat. Hey, listen, when TikTok is live, we're just waiting on you to jump on.
Shit. All right, just give me a second.
No sweat, no sweat. Just like every single Monday. And who is this? He's already someone who has to jump on the TikTok. Should I bring him in?
Nah, just bring him in.
No sweat.
Damn. Okay. Give me 1 second, Brock Yeller.
A match. This is our Monday night show. I don't know about no match. I don't know what you're doing, brother. It's not going down like that tonight. You're in the wrong live, my brother. This nigga, I told him he's in the wrong live. He just exited. He just quitted. Weird ass nigga. But yeah, TikTok, bear with us. We're just waiting on my brother Austin Malakma to jump in. You understand? We're gonna rock it out just like every Monday night. If you have any questions or comments, whatever the case is, then put it in the chat. If you want to hop on the live, send an invite. We'll address your questions or comments, whatever the case is. If you want to come with fuckery, well, be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm gonna say. Lord be with you. That's it. Just gonna wait for Malakma, and we have some interesting topics tonight, as usual. You understand? I don't know what should we start with. Maybe we should start with what's his name again? First of all, let me say this: the oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. El hombre blanco es el pinche diablo que habla la Biblia. That's first and foremost. You understand? We're gonna jump in that because that devil, that Italian bastard, Ron DeSantis, he's way out of pocket. He's out of line on so many levels. I mean, first of all, he made a law where undocumented Latinos would have to move out of Florida, or they're gonna get deported or some shit like that. You understand? And then I think he sent a whole bus. Was it him who sent the bus? I think he sent the whole bus to Cali, which is technically sending Mexicans back to Mexico because California is Mexico. But now he's trending because he said something like, he said black people benefited from being in slavery. I'm just paraphrasing, right? He said, during slavery, we learned trades that were useful to us after slavery. I was like, good fucking night. Selected for my language. Excuse my French. It's like, good night. What did we learn? Hey, we have a redneck in the TikTok chat. But yeah, what did we learn in slavery that was useful to us? Like, are you talking about being submissive to the oppressor, where we don't talk back to him if we get disrespected, or whatever the case is. I don't understand. Somebody enlighten me. You understand? Anyone with a question or comment, let me know, what did we learn in slavery that was beneficial for us? All I know is that you cannot trust your oppressor. The oppressed can never trust the oppressor. The slave should never trust a slave master. I think that's what I retained from slavery. You understand? Besides that, I don't know what Ron DeSantis is talking about. Let me see if Malakma's going to jump into TikTok right now. You know, a couple of brothers online. Let me see if he's going to jump in. Oh, by the way, just so y'all know, this is going to be our last night, our last Monday night for La Pura Neta. We're going to move the show to Wednesday night. So everyone tune into La Pura Neta on Monday night. We're going to move the show on Salakia on Wednesdays, right? Starting next week. The show's going to start on Wednesdays, you understand? Let me see what's going on in Malakma, because I'm out here. Okay, Malakma right there. The blood clot. Most High Christ, we have Malakma on the TikTok, but he's still muted on the YouTube and the StreamYard, YouTube and Facebook. No sweat. We're going to get situated. Yeah, I'm right out. I'm right there. No sweat, other one. I was just trying to figure out, you know, what are we gonna start with? I already started on Ron DeSantis, this damn bastard. You understand? Again, anyone who has a question or comment, put it in the chat. You know, let's interact with our people watching. You understand? With our faithful viewers, our faithful listeners. This is La Pura Neta. Salakia. Let me put in the number in the chat on the YouTube and Facebook to anyone who would like to call in. You understand? Llámenos al número es 909-654-5574. Otra vez, el número es 909-654-5574. Llámenos. You understand? Call us at the number. Don't be shy. You understand? Kind. We can't hear you on the StreamYard though. I would just say turn down the volume on either the phone or the computer, because regardless, it's still gonna record your voice. You know, that's what I'm doing. And so far, so good. You understand? If we have any sound issues, put a 2 in the chat. If the sound is good, if the sound is tawab, put a 1 in the chat. You understand? Now, what is this? You're still muted on the StreamYard, so I don't know.
All right, how about now, Watt?
Wait, try again.
How about now? How I sound now?
Yeah, there's a reverb on the StreamYard. Fuck. Wait, where do you have the headphones plugged in?
My headphones are plugged into the recorder.
Okay, that's why I need to have it plugged into either the phone or the computer.
Okay, God.
You know, that's why you get a reverb. You know.
Reverb
1
now?
second. Try again.
How about now? How I sound now?
Yeah, ready to WAP now.
Most High in Christ. Oh, damn. Hold on.
We all Gucci. Right. We all good.
Check. That sound too wild on the StreamYard?
Nah. Now, I hear a reverb, but the sister said, well, she put a 1 in the chat, so I guess the sound is tawab.
How about now?
Try again.
So I had the headphones hooked up to the computer now.
Yeah, it just echoes. That's what the sister said. Well, basically, did you turn down the volume on the phone or the computer? Because you have to turn down the volume on one of the two.
How about now? You still hearing that? Still echoes?
It sounds still up.
All right, now, all right, Most High in Christ. All right.
Okay,
So what we got going on is, okay, you say you was going into Ron DeSantis?
Pinche bastardo.
Let's get something for Ron DeSantis, man.
Listen, you're emptying the clip. That's too much bullshit in one. Listen, in this inflation, we got to make all the shots count. You understand?
Right.
There's a lot of devils who deserve them. You can't use a whole clip on one bastard.
God.
You know, but yeah, like I was saying, Adawan, you know, bastard's trending because not only did he pass a law against so-called undocumented people in Florida, now Florida is just crumbling down, you know, and all the fruits are rotten. Most
Right.
correct. Then I think you sent me the article where he sent a bus back to Cali, a bus full of Mexicans. You know,
Right.
which is
First week of July.
Shit, this is technically first week of July. You know, Independence Day, sending Mexicans back to Mexico. How about that? The irony. He had the capacity to send Mexicans back to Mexico on the 1st of July. And then a lot of Latino for Trumps were celebrating having a barbecue on that day. Good fucking night.
Right. It's just sad, Barack Yalla, you know what I'm saying? That's what it goes down. First week of July, right? He sends a bus full of migrants, quote unquote migrants to out here to my part of town. Then, you know, has the nerve to put buoys in the river with barbed wire. I mean, so he's already splitting families apart, and then he's treating us like we're some kind of enemy. You know what I mean? What did our people do? They went and celebrated the 4th of July. They went and celebrated America's birthday. You know what I mean? While that was happening. Never mind. July 4th was good.
Real quick, just to add insult to injury, right?
Right.
He said he's trending now saying that so-called Negroes benefited from slavery, from, you know, being enslaved. I'm just paraphrasing. I said, you understand? Like all you Theo Thomas and Uncle Toms, you understand, who celebrated 4th of July, whatever the case is. Ron DeSantis, who's running for president, said that Negroes benefited from slavery. Like it was a good thing that we were in chains. That's what he said. I'm just paraphrasing, of course, but you get the point. Like y'all celebrating. I mean, first of all, during the 1st of July, first day of independence, so-called Independence Day. That's not even, we're not even independent regardless. But it's then, for the sake of argument, during the day of independence, of American independence, you were not even considered American anyways, and you were in chains. But he said it was a good thing that you were in chains. And you're celebrating a day where you were still in chains and still hung from trees, thrown in the river, used as gator bait, mass, murdered and mass sexually assaulted, whatever the case is. And then you think you're proud to be American. You know, a lot of, the funny thing, Adawan, just like we had blacks and Latinos for Trumps, you're going to have blacks and Latinos for DeSantis. That's the craziest part.
It baffles me. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say it baffles me because you know what I mean. That's just the power and the witchcraft that America has on so-called blacks and Hispanics. You know, but it just shows, right, that's the witchcraft that has us manipulated to be against our own. Because you could look at any other nation of people, right? They would never side with America against their own people. The Afghans will never celebrate the 4th of July. The Afghans will never celebrate America unaliving Osama bin Laden. You know what I mean? They would never do that.
The one.
Who's on the?
ISUPK on TikTok.
Oh, hey, so what happened? We had someone, so like, not to sidebar real quick. We had somebody who was trying to hop on the TikTok live.
Some nigga nut. He hopped on the live and he started making a challenge or some stupidness. I told him, listen, this is not the right live. And he just left all pissed. I'm like, nigga, I don't know what you
kind of challenge, man.
I don't know. Listen, we take all the challenge. We don't back down from nothing. But if you come with some stupid purple shit, listen, I didn't even have to boot him off. He left himself. You know.
Yeah.
Yes. And he wasn't even on cameras. Again, that's probably IUIC.
You know what? You should do this, man. Like I like what they did on Cross the Line Radio last Thursday, right? Where they said anybody trying to hop on the live, you got to be on camera and you got to have clothes on. You know what I mean?
Right. Damn right. You know, you want to hop on the live, be on camera, and you know, listen. This we didn't even say this. Like, why would you be on camera without no clothes? You think this is OnlyFans?
Yeah, you pause, man. If you're trying to do all that, you know.
Goddamn. Sorry.
Yeah. Back to the DeSantis situation, yeah, man. That just is crazy, right? Let's we got any pictures or anything? Let's put the article up about DeSantis real quick. I think I got it right here.
Check the latest article I sent you. For those who want to see what the article we're talking about, you can hop on the YouTube channel. You pick it up, Pura Neta podcast. I speak in Mexico. I think we're streaming also from I speak in Los Angeles. You understand? Twitter, you pick it up, Pura Neta podcast. Facebook, I speak in Mexico, Latino America, Los Angeles, and I think that's it. We're everywhere. As a matter of fact, you understand? We're everywhere. You know, we're like COVID.
You said like COVID.
You can't stop us. We're spreading like COVID. We're spreading. Listen, the only difference between us and COVID is that, you know, we're not here to harm you.
Right.
We're Christians, though. We're not Christians, but we're not here to harm you.
Con.
But I dare you to cross the line. How about that?
Ain't nobody trying to cross that line.
Let him try, but then again, careful what you wish for. Lord be with you.
Right.
You understand? Bear with us. We're going to share the article on the screen just now. You understand?
I got the article here. I don't know if this is the same one, but this one I found real quick, just because I need to share this, right?
No sweat. Then you can pull up the other one that I sent you not too long ago. Okay, so that's not DeSantis, but that's the same topic we're going to touch on anyways. You know, this another devil, Greg Abbott. So what he basically did, on the border on the Mexican border, because once you go in the river, you're not in the States no more. You're technically in Mexico. Right. So he put it like, what do you call? I forgot how you call it in English, buoys or whatever.
Buoys, yeah, buoys. Buoys filled with barbed wire, right?
Buoys with barbed wire. You know, just to prevent raza from crossing the river. If they're there across the river, if they pass the crocodiles, you understand? Now they have to, you know, try to hop over a buoy with barbed wire. Listen, as if barbed wire could stop a Mexican. Mexicans chew on barbed wire. Isn't that right? So like, yeah. Nah, you know. But listen, this is just to show you how much of an evil bastard or oppressor is. You understand? Now, he put a buoy with barbed wire in the river. Then he dared tell the Mexicans, don't come into the U.S. You're trespassing. You're an illegal alien. But he's trespassing just by going in the river in the first place. And he has a Caucasian to tell our Mexican brothers, do not come over here. Don't cross the river. Good night. Listen, this is an evil bastard.
Right.
Plus, I don't think it make any sense, to be honest. Like, as if buoys with barbed wire could stop raza. Like, can't you just swim under the buoy?
Right. You can swim under that. But nah, even just the fact that he's doing that against us, you know what I mean?
Right.
The fact that he's doing that against us, he would never advocate that for Canada, right? I'm gonna tell you this, man. If he could put landmines on the river, he would put landmines. You know?
God, good night. We don't even know what's underwater. Like no one ever tried to just swim underwater and cross the border. Who
Right.
knows? Lord knows there may be a aquatic mine under there. Next thing you know, you see an explosion on the river. You're like, wonder what's up? And then come to find out they're putting underwater mines in the Rio Grande River, and that's why I wanted Yashikar to jump on, because that's right next to Yashikar where he lives. It's right next to the valley. You understand? It's like good night. But this is why we say, listen, when you say God loves everybody, this is who you're talking about. This is who God loves in your eyes. You understand? When the scripture says that we're watching for a nation in vain, that they cannot help us, this is the nation that it's talking about. You understand? What's his name? Greg Abbott hates Mexicans so much that he's trespassing into Mexican territory on the river, having them put buoys with barbed wire. Like the buoy is not enough. He had to put barbed wire on it.
Right.
Listen, have you seen the shape of the buoy? Anyone trying to climb that are going to slip off of it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he's such an evil bastard. He had to put barbed wire on it to make sure anyone who even dares to try to climb, even though they're not going to make it, listen, I'll make sure they leave with bruises and injuries, whatever the case. I'll make sure they get injuries and he gets infected. That's what he thinks. That's what's in his mind. That's what's in his heart. But then again, because you say God love everybody, then in your mind, God love Greg Abbott. In your mind, you understand? Because of Christianity, you think people that looks like Greg Abbott looks like your savior. You understand?
He's also, if I could, Brachiali, he's also responsible for sending buses of migrants over here. You know what I mean? Him and the Santis together are doing that, where they're splitting up families and sending, you know what I mean? So he's using our people as political props. He's using them as letting it be known that he sees them as an enemy. And that's just the reality of it. Halak said something heavy. He said they native, Isa ain't right. Avid, DeSantis, all you Europeans, all you white people, you know what I mean? You are not native to this land. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that. Let me say this, right? I say that, you're going to think I'm saying something racist, but it's not racism. It's the truth. You white people are not indigenous to this land. Mexicans are indigenous to this land. Salvadorians are indigenous to this land. You know what I mean? Hondureños, Nicaraguans. You know what I mean? The Haitians, man, their ancestors were brought over here by force. You know what I mean? If we want to get all technical, Brachiali, you know what I mean? They were brought over here by force, and they're the brothers of the indigenous people. You know what I mean?
Lucky out of one. As per what Ron DeSantis said, he said, we benefited being brought over here by force.
I had the article right here, right? The first one, I just want to share this title, right? Abbott defiant at Justice Department threat to remove Wazer Wire Texas placed at the border, right?
Yeah, nice.
And now we got the one with DeSantis who's saying, that.
You know what's crazy? Because I'm speaking to a devil at work. He's telling me DeSantis, like, he's the next Trump. He's basically the Italian Trump from Florida. And we know how devils in Florida are.
He might be worse than Trump, huh?
Listen, shit, Salaki out of one. You said the exact same thing the devil told me at work. If DeSantis gets elected, it's going to be worse than Trump.
Right.
Like Trump, he's openly racist in the manner like, I'm racist. It is what it is. But DeSantis is I think DeSantis is a whole other level than Trump. You understand? Right. Besides the article, he's trying to erase, he's trying to ban some history books, to his own benefit. So instead of saying, we suffered so bad from slavery that we still suffer from it today, say, well, they benefited from slavery. He probably will include textbooks where he's going to say, well, they were not, they weren't brought here as slaves. They were brought here as immigrants, indentured workers. Salaka, that's what he might say.
That's what they're trying. Let me say this, out. What Ron DeSantis is doing, what Greg Abbott is doing, right, is they're implementing white supremacy. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're implementing white supremacy. They're implementing the dictatorship and oppression of raza. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing.
I mean,
And they're doing that to get the white vote. You know what I mean? Because America has always had an issue with black and brown. The general brought out in the class, right, about the healthcare system and why the reason why we don't have free healthcare, right? That is to make sure that blacks and Hispanics do not get healthcare. Like they're
right.
literally trying to kill you out. America has always had that mission in its mind to exterminate us and keep, you know what I mean, and just live off of, use us for their gain and then get rid of us when you know that they're done. You know, that's why, you know, you have Planned Parenthood. That's why you had Margaret Sanger. That's why you have abortion today. That's why you pushing, you know, they sterilized our women. All the things they've done, man, and we're over here, we still love America. This is the crazy part, Barack, y'all, is that people come at us and resist us and think we're the hate group, think we're the cult. Nah, man. Your Christian church is the cult. Your Christian church is a hate group because the Christian church will teach you to hate your brother and love these people. Teach you to love Ron DeSantis. Teach you to love Greg Abbott. Teach you to love Donald Trump. Meanwhile, hate the Mexicans that he's locking up in the detention centers. To hate the people that are you know that are getting, you know, jammed up by that razor wire buoys. You know what I mean? To hate that brother that died in the river with his daughter. Go ahead, Ad.
The Christianity will teach you to love the oppressor and hate the oppressed.
Right.
It's as simple as that. You understand? Now, this title says DeSantis defends Florida curriculum that suggests slaves benefited from forced labor.
Good night. Slaves benefited from forced labor. God damn.
So he's basically saying we benefited from getting whipped to death. We benefited from being hung on trees. We benefited from getting our appendages cut off. We benefited from being, you know, buck broken.
Right.
We benefited from having our children kidnapped and molested by these goddamn Caucasian devils. I mean, the list goes on. So like last week, me and Amataza, we brought out a list of slave masters. Good night. We brought up probably like 20 or more slave masters. It went from A to Z. Like they made a whole list of slave masters with all the letters of the alphabet, and it wasn't even a complete list. And he said we benefited from them, from the atrocities they committed against us. We benefit. Like good night. Listen, good night. We benefited from being gator, especially in Florida. Florida was one of the prominent states that we were used as gator bait. And we benefited from being fed to alligators as newborn babies. What is he talking about? See, right. That's what we say. The press is an evil bastard, and there's no way to, like, how could you love these oppressors? Like, how could you love white people and trust them, or even associate yourself with them when he says, you know, listen. First of all, this is who Martin Luther King marched for. This is not for us. He marched for it. Listen. Martin Luther King marched that he could sleep with Ron DeSantis' great-grandmother. Grandmother. Salakia. And who knows? All his goddamn females in his family. That's who Martin Luther King marched for. Martin King didn't give a damn about us. He marched so he could sleep with Ron DeSantis' mother. That's it. Right. That's it. And then he regretted it at the end because he realized how stupid that was. Like, listen, how you rather be in a relationship with a cave-dwelling dog than a project baby? I don't understand. Good night. How you rather be in a relationship with a cave-dwelling dog than a nigga, than a savage or a spick? I don't understand. You rather be in a relationship with a goddamn animal that looks like Lassie instead of your own people? Good night. Listen, a devil tried to talk to me today. I was like, nah, I wasn't trying to have it. Listen, nah. You look like unlawful meat. You look like a seagull, and I want a chicken breast. Salakia. Over here, we want chicken breast and turkey thighs. We don't want no duck liver or what foie gras or whatever it is. You understand? This la'atawab. Give me my chicken breast and turkey thighs.
Is this video right here?
Yeah, that's the Kawakan.
Play the clip.
Take your eye off the ball like that. We do have these shares. We believe that when you take your eye off the ball like that, you're not following your fiduciary duty to do the best you can for your shareholders. So we're going to be launching an inquiry about Bud Light and InBev, and it could be something that leads to a derivative lawsuit filed on behalf of the shareholders of the Florida Pension Fund, because at the end of the day, there's got to be penalties for when you put business aside to focus on your social agenda at the expense of hardworking people.
You know, you can hop on YouTube and Facebook and check the video we just played. Yeah, basically, there's a whole article on.
All right, let's get into the article. I'll start reading it right now. So, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis defended a hard right school curriculum that went into effect in the state this week while on the campaign trail for the Republican presidential nomination. At an event in Utah, Governor DeSantis defended how slavery will now be taught in Florida middle schools. Children will now be taught that enslaved persons picked up skills that they later parlayed into profitable crafts after slavery was abolished. Here's my question: what are these profitable crafts that he's talking about?
What skills?
Right, what are these skills that he's talking about? They're probably going to show that some of the folks that eventually parlayed, you know, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life, Mr. DeSantis told reporters on Friday. However, at the same press conference, the GOP candidate also appeared to back away from the specific assertions of the teachers saying that of the curriculum. I didn't do it. I wasn't involved in it.
Good night.
Go ahead.
Hey, Salaki, let me pull a scripture. He said, I didn't do it. I wasn't involved in it. Let me get a scripture out of one. Salaki, real quick.
Which one?
I'm going to get Isaiah. You already know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Listen, to all you so-called Caucasian dogs that said, I wasn't involved in slavery. I didn't do anything. I'm not responsible for whatever my forefathers did. Understand? Listen to this. This is biblical. Listen, no sweat. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. Y'all can read it for yourself and don't think I'm just making shit up. Right? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21, it says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Right.
Listen, it's pretty straightforward. Right? You were not responsible. I mean, you think that it doesn't affect you whatsoever. Like you didn't benefit from anything, right? Listen, you're able to go to Harvard today because we weren't enslaved. My people were in chains. You understand? You're able to.
Brock Yalla, let me say this: you live in America today because of the bloodshed your ancestors did.
Damn right. You understand? We're able to have all those movies in Hollywood because you understand you took my brothers Malakma people and pushed them further down south, and you annexed California, Texas, Arizona, and so on and so on. You understand? Like, listen, the Most High is gonna listen. Heads are gonna roll off because of what your forefathers did and what your people are still doing. Like, you think this is over? Like, we're still getting lynched in 2023. What do you mean it's all in the past? You understand?
Yeah, right. They want you to believe that nonsense, Brock Yalla. Meanwhile, how many Arabs had to die for 9/11 that had nothing to do with 9/11?
Like, listen, we're not advocating for other nations, but we're just showing you how evil, much of an evil bastard our oppressor is. You understand? Right. I remember there's a video of George Bush laughing about we need to look for weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. Like, he's cracking jokes about it like, where are they? Where were they? We never found anything. And he's laughing on stage. I was like, good night. You know, again, we're not advocating for any other nation, but it just shows you how much of an evil bastard our oppressor is. That's what we call him, the oppressor of oppressors. Right. It's like he was there in the Middle East to get all the opium so he could get high and get all the oil, so he wants to get money. But we know there was no weapons of mass destruction. Like, good night. Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden were working with the U.S. before they were enemies.
Right.
Yes, we're not here to be conspiracy theorists either, but listen, you could just look it up yourself. It's all documented. The point is, the gringos is the pinche bastard devil that the Bible speaks of. And that just like Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21 said, his children are going to pay for the crimes of their forefathers. Just like we pay for the sins of our forefathers, it's the same for everybody. What do you think this is? And again, we're not advocating for the Arabs, because the Arabs also are going to pay. They built the slave ships that we went on. You understand? Like, no, listen, outside of Israel, nobody's safe. The Gentiles, they're not safe. You understand? But they're coming to the truth. You know? But this is our oppressor. He said we benefited from being in chains. It wasn't basically Ron DeSantis saying slavery was a good thing. That's what he's saying. You understand? I think the general brought this out today as well. There was a woman with Ron DeSantis. She said, she's not. I think she's a sister, right? I need to check it out. I'm just paraphrasing, right?
What did she say?
She said, if it wasn't for slavery, I wouldn't be a Christian. I would be in Africa worshiping a tree. I was like, good.
And
nice.
that's the problem. If I could, Brock Yalla, let me say this, man. That is the problem with us, man. That's the problem with black and brown, because you know what I mean? Like we still love these people after everything they do, man. We still go out of our way to love them. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you to go pick up arms and go harm them. But what I am telling you to do is stop celebrating America's holidays. Stop loving America. Stop loving white people, man. And learn to love that black and brown man and woman as yourself. Start loving them. Your carnal that you know that's from another neighborhood. Forgive him. Forgive the cats that murdered your brothers, man.
Salakia, unalive.
Oh, so that unalive them, Salak. You know what I mean? You got no problem forgiving the white man when he slaughters you at the Walmart. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got no problem forgiving a white man when he lynches your ancestors, when they steal your land. But that black and brown man, hell, forgive that black brother that assaults the street vendor. You know what I mean? The black young brothers that do it, and the brown brothers that do it. Forgive them. If you can forgive the white man for what they do, why can't you forgive them? You know?
And you know what's the worst part with that comment that she made? Is like in Africa right now, the number one religion is Christianity. Like slavery didn't save you from anything. Slavery didn't make you a listen.
Let me say something for my brothers, man. Fuck Africa.
Damn right.
Fuck Africa, man. And fuck Spain. It's gonna hurt a lot of hearts. It's gonna, you know, ruffle a bunch of feathers. But it's the truth, man. We have to say that, man.
Damn right. TikTok, do not cancel us, but shit.
Oh, sorry. I recant my statements.
Salakia doing live for educational purposes. Let me clarify.
Right.
You understand?
I mean, I say that, you know, they're gonna say, "Oh, you see, this is what they say, man. This is an attack on black people everywhere." Nah, man. Africans sold black people into slavery. Spaniards came, raped, and murdered indigenous people, man.
Damn right.
We are not those people, man. Whether you black or brown, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are not Africans, nor are they Spaniards, man.
Damn right. Yes, and if you disagree, I mean, listen, anything, comment in the chat, come on the live if you disagree. We don't care. Let's see what you're about. You understand? Who's that? Mikey Canada. What's going on, Mikey Canada?
What do you say?
I don't know. Let me ask him. Do you think that Native American Indians benefited from the colonizers coming to Canada? Everything the white men were slaves to the
What?
Salaka, he said everything the white men were slaves to the liberal white owners. What are you talking about?
Mikey, explain.
Mikey, come on camera. Listen. Listen. Sorry for my reaction. Good night. Listen. Let me see if you kind of listen. Explain your point.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, man. Let's not question. Let's see what he means. Let's see what he's trying to say. You know what I mean?
I think it was too sudden for me. I was not expecting that type of question.
Caught us off guard. No sweat. I'm gonna give you a second to see if you want to hop on live or respond, Mikey, and then I'll answer your question. Right? Do we ever think the white man were slaves to the liberal white owners? All right.
Yeah. Let's see. First off, slaves. Where in where in the? Are we talking about in Canada or in the U.S.? Because clearly you're a Canadian.
Right. Explain. Let me say this, man. The white man, Europeans, of course, we know they lack brotherhood, right? And they oppress each other. But if you want to talk about white slaves have never suffered. I know very upfront. Okay, no sweat. White slaves have never suffered what blacks, so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans suffered in slavery. And what do I mean by that? White people were never the Irish. I'm assuming you're talking about the Irish, the Italians. Who else are you talking about?
If I could, other one, I just want to add something for Mikey, right? Because basically, just to add on your answer that you're giving to Mikey, basically, right? Just like you said, you need to specify, because if you're talking about the Irish, the Italians, or the so-called non-Americans or non-Canadians today, listen, that was not slavery. You understand? Like, it's always a myth that, well, the Irish were enslaving the Caribbeans as well, or the Irish came over here and they were worked as slaves, whatever the case is. They suffered. It's a myth that they suffered more than so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian people. Listen, the Irish were not used as gator baits. The Irish, they didn't commit a genocide on the Irish in Canada and the U.S.
Right.
The Irish were not lynched on trees. Good night. There's a book called The Delectable Negro where it shows you that we were literally we were the meat on the barbecue. Let me just put it like that for TikTok. We were the meat on the barbecue. There was no Irish meat on the grill. You understand? And for white people to oppress other white people, it just shows you how much of a oppressor the Caucasian people are, because they're so bad that they're oppressing their own people. You understand? So we hope we answered your question. If you have any more comments or questions, put them in the chat or come on camera. People to come on camera, whatever the case is. But hopefully we answer your question. And if not, let us know if we could clarify it. But I think it's pretty straightforward. Listen, and also, Salakia, let me say this before I read that other comment that you put. You understand? Let me say this. Salakia, real quick before we read this comment, right? When we speak about slavery, about the atrocities that happened to us, Black, Hispanic, and Native, it's always that one white dude said, well, what about white slaves? White people were also slaves. Listen, every single nation on the face of the earth were slaves at some point, but not like we were. Every single nation on the face of the earth were oppressed. Still oppressed.
If I could, let me say this real quick. Every other nation that got enslaved, right? You almost most certainly know they got recompense for the slavery they got put through.
Damn right.
They got their justice for the slavery they got put through. Where is the justice for so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans for the slavery that they went through, for the oppression that they go through? And the slavery hasn't ended. Our slavery has not ended. No, everybody thinks about 400 years ago. It's still till today, present. You look at the 13th Amendment here in America, the clause on there. There's a reason why there's a disproportionate number of black and brown men that are filling up the prisons. And they're putting them out in fields, having them work factories. Look at my people, the Mexicans, right? How they're put in slave conditions out in those fields picking, almost getting paid close to nothing, right? Black and brown are still in slavery today. It hasn't ended. Go ahead, Ike.
I'm gonna read Mikey's comments, but just to add what you were saying, where every single nation that's oppressed, you understand, they're getting compensation. Listen, France just denied the island of Martinique any compensation for slavery. And you know what the most evil part is about this? Is when slavery ended in the Americas and the Caribbean, the slave master got compensation, not the slaves. You understand? And we're still getting oppressed, and there's still chemical warfare on us, whether it's the drugs or the chemicals they're putting on the islands and on the Native Indian reservation. So listen, white people who were so-called indentured servants or so-called forced laborers, you understand, quote unquote, as you may say, white people were enslaved by what he said, by liberals. Listen, you cannot compare oppression to other nations.
If I could, let me say this. Let's go with his argument, right? That they were enslaved, right?
Right.
Were never stripped of their identity. The Irish, the Italians, whoever else was enslaved at the hands of Europeans were never stripped of their language, their culture, and their identity. You know what I mean? They weren't put in boarding schools and beaten senseless to stop speaking, what is it? What the Irish speak English, right? I'm assuming so. Celtic ways and all that. That was never beaten out of them. You know what I mean?
And let me just read that comment real quick. There was millions that tried to stand up against slavery in the U.S., but government halted them. Listen, those who try to stand up against, that comment needs to be clarified, Mikey. I'm going to tell you why. Because Abraham Lincoln, even though he's known for,
he never wanted to free the slave.
He didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
The real reason why slavery was abolished in the U.S., right, is because the South was making more money than the North, and it was about to separate themselves from the North. The North was not having that. You understand? Maybe there was one white man who had, I had a black friend I grew up with on the plantation, and let me help him, advocate for him. Listen, that's probably 1 in a million. Listen, you understand? If there's 10 snakes, 9 are venomous, and there's 1 that's good, you think I'm still try and go and pick up the one that's good, trying to figure out which one is good or not? Nah, I'm a separate way. You understand? But let me read the other comment. He said, "It's just funny because I don't know anyone with hate, so it's hard to comment." It's not about hate. You understand? Just listen. And not only is it not about hate, but it's not even a black or white thing.
Hey, Mike, what you mean by that? You don't know anyone with hate? What you mean by that? Please explain.
Yes, Salakia, something just lit up in my head because, listen, we all know someone with hate. And listen, Mikey, explain the comment about not knowing anybody with hate. And we're going to enlighten you that we all know someone with hate.
Mikey, I got a question for you. Hold on. I got a question for you, Mikey. Mikey, what's your religion?
Good night. It's Salakia, why you have to do this? I was about to have to say, but why you had to do this?
One accord.
And he says, you're correct. We were never stripped of our identity. Damn right. You understand? That's why it's not comparable.
Okay, Mikey. You might be an honest. I'm assuming you're a white man.
I was raised in an environment with inclusiveness and diversity, so it's hard to see. Okay, I understand. You were raised in a what they call today a melting pot. The so-called dream of Martin Luther King, right? Is that, I assume because you were raised in an environment of inclusiveness and diversity that, that's what it means. Well, guess what? That dream that Martin Luther King had, 2 things. First of all, Martin Luther King was trying to, preach out of the Bible that, we can't hate the man. We need to hate the character of the man. So we cannot just, have any, what's it called? He was good night. Listen, you know what? So like, let me jump to the other comment because he said
He was
something.
a great man.
Listen, I think Mikey doesn't know. That's why, Mikey. I think you need instruction. You need a lesson right now. That's why, because you don't actually know. What you know is what is being portrayed to the public.
No. He's right. He was a great man. He was a great man for them, for white people. MLK was a great man for white people because the segregation, the integration he pushed for benefited them. You know what I mean? The inclusiveness and diversity training today benefits them. It benefits white people. What does not benefit our people, man? You know what I'm saying? Because all it does is push more integration and erase more black and brown business.
Listen, Mikey, before we jump on
I got it. JFK was a great man for you. Once again, he was great for America. He was great for white people. He was not great for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. No U.S. president, no U.S. system has ever been great for us. We've never benefited from any of this. Your people benefit, Mikey. Your people. I mean, you can say he wasn't. You can say whatever. That's fine. But all your presidents, all your leaders, they're all great for you. That's the point, because they're for you. They're not for us. You know who's for us? I'm going to tell you who's for us. Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Bible is for us. Commanding General Yohana today is for us. Right? The ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana is for us, man. That's what's going to end the issues for our people, man. We don't believe in inclusiveness. We don't believe in diversity because the Bible doesn't teach that. God never believed to be diverse or to be inclusive of all the nations together for one great melting pot. That's why you have the Tower of Babel. You know what I mean?
As a matter of fact,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I have a scripture, you understand, because all we say is biblical, right? But before I say that, I'm gonna just enlighten Mikey real quick. Martin Luther King was just a sexual deviant. He just wanted to have orgies with white women. That's what he pushed for integration. And then, just like Malakma said, understand, it did not benefit us at all. Why? Because after integration, where are the black businesses after integration? Like, whole black neighborhoods. We had damn near black cities. We had how many I think there's probably like one college every other state or whatever. You understand? But we had 100 plus colleges throughout the countries. You understand? But it's all gone because of integration.
Right.
All the black businesses are all gone because of integration. Like, we used to have our own dentists, our own doctors, our own clothing store, restaurants, everything. You barely see any of that anywhere. You understand? Even I went to last year. I went to Toronto on what's that street again? Eglinton, and I forgot, but that zone in Toronto is called Little Jamaica. You know, there's no all the buildings are not owned by Jamaicans, and not just because, you know, it's just really majority of West Indian people, whether it's Jamaicans, Vinci Grenadians, but it's just other nations who own the buildings, and they make sure that even though they get subsidies to renovate the buildings, you understand, the landlords don't give a damn. They won't renovate the buildings, but all the money they get to renovate the businesses. They make sure they're trying to basically gentrify Little Jamaica. And because of Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King is gentrification. He's the face of gentrification.
Right.
Then, but all the time, so that white people can prosper in the black community, they need the black face, in the sense where they need their little puppet. That's what I mean by blackface, not, you know, the racist thing they do, but they need a little puppet. And Martin Luther King was just a plant, a puppet. He made us believe that the oppressed should trust in the oppressor. That's what he made us believe.
Right.
Understand? Before I read that other comment, Mikey, I'm gonna read a scripture real quick where it says, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, where it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." Here we're speaking about the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, are the people known today as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And it said that, you know, we are an holy people unto the Lord. Holy comes from the Hebrew word kodash, meaning separate. So you already know that Martin Luther King, with all his stupidness speech that he stole from Gandhi in the first place, you understand?
Rakyala, if I could, real quick, right? You talk about Martin Luther King. Why is the fact always overlooked that white people killed Martin Luther King after everything that he did, right? Pushing love and equality. They still unalived him. They still assassinated him. Go ahead, Salakia.
You're always going too fast. I was about to get to that as well. You understand? With one accord, you already know. It's like, listen, you know, brotherhood is like reading the mind of one another. You understand? But at the end of the day, I'm just going to say, listen, we're supposed to be a separate people. So Martin Luther King thought, you know, was he a preacher, a pastor, whatever the case? He didn't know the Bible. Instead, he taught us to love our enemies. He taught us to love the oppressor that's oppressing us. Well, the Bible said that we need to be separate. Not in the sense that you cannot have a white friend, but you can, you know, you're not supposed to join hand in hands with them like he was saying. You're not supposed to, you know, be in a relationship with them. You could conduct business, but as far as it is, that's it. You understand? Luther King made the oppressed love the oppressor, while the God of Israel, our God, told us to be separate from these people.
Right.
And we see then the result of not being separate from these people. We're still getting lynched in 2023, talking about integration was a good thing. The integration did not stop the lynchings. Integration did not give no land back to the so-called indigenous people of the Americas. You understand?
Right.
You understand? But I was gonna say also, Martin Luther King got, you know why? We already know why Martin Luther King got killed. Listen, he was a Baptist, and the Baptist is the KKK Christian, is the version of Christianity of the Ku Klux Klan. That's what being Baptist. You understand? So it's not shocking that, you know, he was unalived afterwards. He was following after the religion of the Klan. Plus, Martin King, he's from the South. He should have known better. But that just proves that no preacher knows the Bible in the Christian church, Catholic church, Baptist, whatever denomination it is. Martin Luther King was a virus, you understand, to the black community. Yeah, he was no good to the black and Hispanic community. You understand? He destroyed us further than we were already destroyed.
Right.
At least we had our own pools, and there was no Karens who could call the police on us because we're in the pool during segregation, because we had our own pools. You understand? We had our own thing. Nowadays we're integrated. We go in the public pools, and Karens are calling police left and right on us. We're integrated. We're in the public schools all together, and you have police officers body slamming 11-year-old black girls. It didn't happen during segregation because there was no Caucasian police officer just coming into the class to body slam a little black girl. You understand? And what do you say? Mikey said he did ruin complete black business. He had a very good objective though, but it failed. Mikey, like I said, look it up yourself. He was exposed by his right-hand man.
Let me say this. He's right. MLK had a good objective for white America.
Right.
It failed for white America. It was not a good objective for black people, though. That's the reality of it, man. So he's right. Yeah, a good objective for white people, not for us.
And he said, I think that the issue isn't realization of who the oppressor, but the denial of the new generation not accepting that. I mean, good night. Listen, you know what? Damn right.
Let's give my hand. Let's give my gift.
You're all here commenting and everything. Let me ask you a question. Where is your father from? Like, you know, where are you from? Are you a so-called oppressor? I have to use a certain terminology for TikTok, you understand? But where's your father from? I just want to see if you're an honest oppressor or are you a brother? But I think I know, but you know, let's confirm the doubt that we have. But you're completely right.
Órale, Halak. Damn right. La pura neta.
Listen, today, the younger generation, they think, well, it's all in the past. I'm not oppressed, and this and that. Listen, you're still living it. My father was born in Wales. I was born in Calgary, Alberta. Listen, you answered the question. No sweat. You understand? But it seems like you are a honest devil, meaning deceiver. You understand? Because your people deceive the whole earth. But I'm just trying to say that you are an honest, oppressor.
You might be an honest oppressor, man. You might be an honest white man. You know what I mean?
The benefit of the doubt.
Even to you to show to our camp speaking, you know, and apologize on behalf of your race. That being said, you know what I mean? You raised some good points, Mikey, that, you know, MLK was good. He was great for white people, not for us, man. He was a destruction for us. And
Damn right.
That's true that there's a denial of knowing who the oppressor is, which is your nation. Your nation is the oppressor. The so-called white man is the oppressor and the devil that the Bible speaks of. Why do we say devil? It's got nothing to do with how you look. It's got nothing to do with your race, right? When I say that, I say it in context. Not because you got blonde hair and blue eyes. It's about the crimes that your nation has done to mine, has done to Officer Brock Gallas. You know what I mean? Enslaving our ancestors, stripping them of their identity. And then every time we bring this issue up, every time we talk about it, people want to come and minimalize what we suffered. Want to minimalize and you know, play off what we suffer, saying, oh, well, everyone else suffered what you guys suffered. Everyone else went through it. Everyone else got justice for what they suffered. Everyone else got to heal from what they went through. We haven't, because we're still getting kicked down today. We're still getting slapped in the face today. We're still getting spat on today. So
right, but no sweat out of one. I mean, you know, he might be an honest one. You understand? Remember the underground railroads to Canada, of course. Listen, we over here, we're not just biblical scholars. We're historical scholars. We have. This is why the ISUPK stands for the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. The knowledge we have is universal and practical. You understand? You know, I mean, with all those brothers that fled to Canada to well, even whether they fled or not, you understand? Whether they fled or not, because what I'm saying, whether they fled or not, because slavery was in Canada as well. Like Negroes were side by side with indigenous people or Native Indians, that's called them, in Canada as slave, right? A lot of them that fled to Nova Scotia, Vancouver, what is today as Toronto, whatever the case is. Yeah, we do know about that, Mikey. No sweat. You understand? And you say, I'd be the man filling them with fuel. Good night. The man said, listen, the fuel is already there. You know what fuels us? You understand? Is to never forget. Just like the Jewish, just like the Yiddish man never forgets about the Holocaust. Hey, I have to use certain terminology before TikTok cancels us.
I like that word, the Yiddish man.
I have to say the Yiddish man, you know. Indigenous have suffered also, of course. Listen.
Right.
How do you know I'm not an indigenous man? Like, you know, I'm going to show you why a reason your people are the devil the Bible speaks of, because today you would not think a person that looks like me with my skin complexion could be indigenous to the Americas. When so-called Native American Indians or indigenous people were classified as Negro before they were called Native American Indians. You understand? But just to separate us even further than we're separated today, y'all had to make classifications as Negroes, blacks, Native Americans, indigenous, Latino, Mexican, Hispanic. All those terms come from your people, not us. Because me and Malakma, we would not, like, how do you know me and Malakma are not even brothers by blood? Because we are, just to let you know. But you understand? It's just to show you that, you know, of course, Native Indians have suffered. And that, as a matter of fact, that's Salakia. I think we should jump into the next topic because of that. You know, if you could pull up the article on on the 2 indigenous women that disappeared in the landfill. And I think, is it in Manitoba? I think it's in Manitoba where they refuse to look for the corpses because they say it's too dangerous for our people to go there. You understand? This is just to show you that the oppressor is a goddamn evil bastard. Because how you gonna, they have a policy in the army where they leave no man behind. Not only that, in 2023, you understand? I don't know if they still do it right now, but I know before the Russian-Ukraine war, they would still go to Chernobyl just to test the ground and the waters for like levels of radioactivity. So they have equipment like hazmat suits and I forgot what's the term of it, but little detectors to test the air quality, the soil, the waters, whatever the case is. They even fish to test the fish. It's just the level of radioactivity. But they're saying it's too dangerous to go into landfills for our people to look for corpses that we think we may not even find anything. Here's the hypocrisy. Here's how evil that sounds. How close is that landfill to the reservation? Number one. And depending on how close it is, regardless, it's still, isn't it just poisoning the land next to the reservation or in the reservation? You understand? Like, good night. If you could read the article about Kushada one. For those who are on TikTok, we're sharing the article on our YouTube and Facebook page. Tune into UPK La Pura Neta podcast on YouTube. ISUPK Mexico, YouTube, Facebook, Latino America, whatever the case is. You understand? We're on YouTube and Facebook. If you want to see the article we're sharing, before we read the article, I'm going to read that last comment. Canadian RCMP after Trudeau government will be held accountable. All Canadians will be held. Did I read the scripture about Isaiah, other one? Should I read it again? I think Mikey was not there. You understand? Let me read it again.
Go ahead.
Before we read this article, right? Because what we say is that whatever we say are the points we bring out. There is no personal opinions about it. You understand? It's all biblical. And for those who don't believe us, who think I'm making this up, what I'm about to read, you could go read for yourself. I mean, listen, I'm reading from the 1611 King James version of the Bible. They can't see it on the screen because of the green screen, but I'm reading from the 1611 King James version of the Bible. Go check it for yourself. You understand? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. It's not a black and white thing. It's not a brown and white thing. Like, we don't give a damn about your skin complexion, whatever the case is. It's for the iniquity of your forefathers. Like, we don't know who Mikey is. We never seen him. He seems to be an honest, upstanding white citizen. He's not cussing us out. He's interacting with us in the chat. But it has, listen, we don't have nothing personal against him, right? It's not about him being, he said his father is from Wales. It's not about him being from Wales and him being born in Calgary, Alberta, if I'm not mistaken. It's not about that. It's about the iniquity, the crimes that his forefathers committed against our people. You understand? It's nothing, it gets personal to a certain extent, but I don't have any personal qualms with Mikey. Malakma don't have any personal issue with Mikey. We don't know Mikey. Right. You understand? So it's biblical. What we're saying is biblical. Like, we don't know. Maybe I'll see Mikey at camp when we go to Toronto on the 12th of August. Who knows? Maybe when we establish ourselves in Calgary, because we are spreading like wildfire. We're spreading like COVID. We'll be in Calgary soon, so maybe we'll get to see Mikey. Maybe Mikey's gonna come at camp. Who knows? But until then, I mean, shit, La Pura Neta every Monday. Like I said, Mikey, we were in there before, but we're gonna move to Wednesdays if you want to interact with us next week. You understand? But yeah, let's read the article.
God, it's titled, "They Don't Care. Family Walks Out of Meeting with Premier Over Landfill Search."
Good night. Listen, the title says it all. They don't care. Don't give a damn. They never did. Listen, I'm gonna show you why they never cared. Every now and then, I get an Amber Alert. It's always this little white girl that disappears. Like right away, we get a white kid disappears. We get an Amber Alert in less than an hour. You know how many so-called Native Indian women, girls disappeared? You get no Amber Alerts. Probably the month or 2 months later. Oh, a Native Indian girl disappeared. We need to look for her. Yeah, but it's been 2 months already. The little white kid that disappeared, that was kidnapped by their parent, most likely.
Right.
You can remember learn in the next 30 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. Like I remember, I think it was in the beginning of the year or last year, I got so many Amber Alerts. I'm just looking it up. It's like, oh, these 3 white kids got kidnapped by their parent. Oh, these 2 white kids got kidnapped by their mother. This and that, whatever the case is.
Yeah,
in less than 30 minutes.
Let me just add to what you're saying. They got a documentary movement called Missing 411 for all the missing white people.
Good night.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead. It's like
no, it's just really, you know, when I think that's mostly in the US where on the milk cartons, like you would see the picture of the little white kids.
Right.
It's like, listen, if they were really worried about kids that disappearing, most of these pictures would be black and brown people and Native Indian people. There's more than 40,000, I think, only women, underage women that disappeared in the U.S. last year. Close to that. Only women. Imagine the other little boys, the young boys, the other young girls. You understand? In Ohio itself, I think close to 40 youngins disappeared. Was it last month or since the beginning of this year? I forgot. We need to pull out the article. Probably we can do next week's episode about it. God. They don't give a damn about us. Like, why would the oppressor give them about the oppressed? The only reason they give it, they have to talk about it in the news is because, again, just like we have the news, we have cameras. You know, like Native Indians then don't think they're still living in teepees or whatever huts. Listen, they could go to the cafe, use the internet, and say they don't give a damn about us. Our people disappeared. Now it's gonna make national news. You're trying to avoid being, you know, painting in the worst image possible.
Right.
But listen, Caucasian people cannot avoid being painted in a bad image. Just like the clip we played last week, this devil, I forgot what's his name. He said the way we portray Christopher Columbus as being this genocidal maniac, we're just exaggerating. Like he said he was actually good to the Native Indians.
Wow.
Let me play that clip. Play that clip because this is just wild.
About the Native Americans.
But there were many different Native American tribes.
Would you like me to name all the tribes?
Yes, and I'd like you to name, and the reason I would like you to name all the tribes is because there were many tribes who conquered many other tribes. So just as an example, the Comanche Indians come in and they conquer areas run by the Apache Indian. Now the United States comes.
If I could
replay it, I don't want.
If I could, just real quick, man. This is why we say the white man is the devil, why the oppressor is the devil. Because you heard what he said, right? He said the Apaches, the Indians were conquering each other. You know, they always, it goes back to that whole thing, right? Well, everyone was doing it, so how are we held responsible for it? That's really what he's saying. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
What he's really saying is that because they were conquering each other's land, if we would have to give the land back to someone, who should we give it back to? You understand? Like, he's such an evil bastard that he's gonna make up an excuse to not give the land back. Be like, you know, right. I don't know who to give it back to. You understand? The Apaches were there. They conquered the Comanches, or they conquered the Blackfoot, the Mohawk, or the Arawaks. The Carib conquered the Arawaks, and so on and so forth. The Mayan conquered the Aztecas, and so on and so forth. The Mexicas, the Incas. So, who should we give restitution to? Who should we give the land back to? We don't know who to give it back to. Listen, what is the Mexica, the Arawak, the Mohawk, the Carib Indians, the so-called Haitians that were already there, the Incas, whatever there is. Listen, we're all the same people regardless. Like the people you enslaved in the Americas and the Caribbeans are the same, are one and same people. You understand? I'm going to play that clip, but real quick before I replay that clip so we get to the part where he's talking about Christopher Columbus was not a bad person. Let me just read that comment real quick.
Go ahead.
Would you believe, Mikey said, would you believe a white man if he said he wished he could take everything back? No, I would not. Listen, nope. I don't think you Mikey, it's not personal, but you don't understand the atrocity. Listen, you can take everything back. Listen, could you handle having every single of your appendage cut off of your body? Listen, he's laughing himself. He's like, laugh out loud, love. Listen, he knows. Listen. Good night. This is a good one. We need to make a clip of this. We know you. He said, listen, see, Mikey's an honest devil. He said, I couldn't. And listen, this is not even the worst atrocity that happened to us. I don't even know what's worse. The fact that they were sitting men around and hanging the pregnant woman from a tree while they slit the woman's belly open, snatch the baby out the belly and use it as gator bait, or bash the baby's head on rocks and trees. Can you handle watching that? I know I couldn't. Even my good night. Yeah, my ancestors, listen, they had to handle that, but I know you cannot watch. I know. I understand. I know. At least he's honest about it. You see, because we would have a lot of devils saying, yeah, we would handle it. We're Canadians, we're Americans, we're French, we don't fear nothing. Mikey is honest. He said, no, I cannot handle it. We know. Listen, it gets worse. Like, have you ever seen one of the slavery movies? I'm not even talking about Django. You understand? Right. The slavery movies, imagine that being like 100 million times worse than that, because it was. The slavery movie is basically sugar-coated. Like Emancipation with Will Smith, Django with what's his name, Jamie Foxx. Right. Django is pretty much fantasy, Slovakia. You understand? But you get what we're saying. You understand? If you could get the article out of Mbakusha.
Which one?
The one we have right here about the woman.
All right, so let me start. Let me read. It says the Manitoba government says it won't support a search of a landfill outside of Winnipeg where the remains of 2 Indigenous women who were murdered are believed to be located. In a statement sent Wednesday afternoon, Premier Heather Stephenson said the province won't knowingly risk the health and safety of Manitoba workers for a search of the Prairie Green landfill without a guarantee. Based on the report.
So they're not going to risk the health and safety of the Manitoba workers, but they're going to risk the health and safety of the Native Indian people while building their pipelines through the reservation.
Right.
Good night. See? Listen, this is just to show you how much of a devil our oppressor is, because he would not risk the health and safety of his own people. But he wouldn't risk the health and safety of our people building pipelines to the reservations. You understand? Even though it's technically illegal to build those pipelines on reservations, he's like, yeah, I don't give a damn. I need the oil. You know, and Mikey said, yeah, honestly, he's just honest. Mikey's saying he's honest. He's honestly honest. He would not handle what we go through. You know, hey, listen, I mean, we're going to have to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point. You understand? He said Justin Trudeau doesn't care about Indigenous, and if it was me, I'd be digging in the dump for the bodies. Listen, Mikey.
Canada? Mikey?
I think he says Mikey, Canada. I'm pretty sure he says he's born in Calgary. I'm going to assume he's in Canada. Yeah, he's in Canada, you know.
And let me say this
quick, right? So like a real quick out of one. Real quick out of one, if I may. Just to address his comment about Justin Trudeau not giving them about the Indigenous. Justin Trudeau is 2023. When Justin Trudeau first campaigned, he said he promised to the Indigenous people, I'm going to give y'all clean water if I be elected Prime Minister. In 2023, they still haven't got a drop of clean water. You understand? Jay, they might have just, good night. They should have just elected the clouds. You understand? They would have got all the clean water they needed. So like, yeah, I don't want.
Nah, you too wild. I was just gonna say real quick to Mikey. He said if it was him, he'd be out there digging in the dump for him. Well, it is you, Mikey. Why don't you go out there and dig in the dump and help him out? Go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? If you really love us like you say, right? If you really love them like you say, you go ahead and do it. Go out there, man.
Salaki out of one. Mikey, you're in Calgary. There's a lot of missing indigenous women and children in Calgary as well. You understand? You don't need to focus about Manitoba and the bodies in those landfills.
Oh, there you go.
They are in Calgary as well. You understand?
Brother right here, man.
Or wherever you're at in Canada at the moment, there are good night. Best believe that there are indigenous corpses right under your house. If you dig deep enough, you're gonna find one. Best believe it. You know, how can I dig for murdered natives when I have 4 kids to feed in Calgary with a shovel? So that's it. Take a shovel, your hands. I don't know, a spoon.
Like, I can't put that part out for you, Mikey. That's so.
Listen.
I mean, the only thing I'm saying is, you know what? I don't expect you to go dig up anybody. I don't expect you to do none of that. I'm just saying, if you love us like you say you do, that's what you would do, because love is an action. You saying you wish you could take it back. I could either say no, you don't. You know what I mean? And I don't expect you to. I don't expect any oppressor to want to take anything back. You know what I mean? Or to give up.
One.
I got you. Let me just say this real quick, Rock.
Come.
I know white people will never give up their white privilege. They will never give up the land. They will never give up the position that they're in here as we speak, right? I don't expect you to. You know what I'm saying? You know who's gonna make y'all give it up? Christ is gonna do it. That's why it's gonna take the Most High and Christ. It's gonna take a supernatural power, because y'all living in here in this country right now, y'all in the position that you're in is a supernatural curse that a supernatural power is gonna come and take away. No white person will ever want to trade places with a black or brown person. That's the truth. You know what I mean? You don't want to be. You don't willingly want to be a slave. You know what I mean? And if you say you do, you're lying. I'm sorry, you're lying. You don't want to be a slave. Now, Christ is going to make. Go ahead, Salaki.
If I may. I'm like you didn't say enough, but if I may, I'm just going to address two of these comments. He said, "How can I dig for murdered natives when I have 4 kids to feed in Calgary?" Besides the shovel, I mean, after you fed the kids, they're in the bed. You know, you have. Don't make me believe you don't have no spare time. Whenever you're watching, I don't know what you're watching, Calgary hockey, or I know Calgary they have the Cowboys horses. Listen, whatever you can do. You know, pick up a shovel. I mean, train. Go, you know, instead of training in the gym, train with a shovel. Dig as deep as you can. You know, isn't it in Calgary that they were digging for gold as well? Instead of digging for gold, dig for bodies. And you don't have to do it. You know, I hope they get their just reward, which is hell. Let me get another scripture out if I may. Right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Right. Meaning, if any man have understanding, that he should understand. Right? Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Again, this is not personal. This is not our personal opinion. This is not a black and white thing. You understand? Because people would say it's a black or white thing. Oh, you want Caucasian people as slaves, whatever. I want what God wants. And God is not just gonna put this people in captivity because he led us into captivity. Good night. Africans are gonna go in chains because they sold us to the oppressor. The Arabs are gonna go in chains. They built the slave ship that we went on. The so-called Yiddish man, who's not a Caucasian person, regardless, he's gonna go in chain because he financed the whole transatlantic slave trade. You understand? The Chinaman today, all the Asians are gonna go in chains as well. Listen, every single nation that is not of the 12th tribe of Israel, every single nation that is not an Israelite is gonna go in chains, regardless. You know, it's not a black or white thing. People are always trying to make it seem like it's a black and white thing. You hate the white man. Listen, I couldn't care less. Listen, if we're gonna hold Caucasian people accountable, we're gonna hold all the other nations accountable who had a hand against us. You know, we're interacting with Mikey because he's right now he's in the chat interacting with us. It could have been like, what's his name? Idris Elba in the chat. I say, Idris Elba, your people are going in chains. Your people, he's Nigerian, right? The Nigerians, like, they were prominent slave traders. Like, his people are going in chains regardless. You know, I don't give a damn. Like, whether I feel like you're a good actor or not, which is subjective. I don't really give a damn. You're going in chains. Jackie Chan, same thing. Ip Man, whatever. Keanu Reeves. What, you know. I appreciate you guys being easy on me for being honest. Listen, you're being honest. We're not, you know, it's not just being easy on you. We're just, listen, you didn't, how can I say this? That was easy. No, listen, I mean, I think he's looking forward for the kingdom of heaven. He thinks that was easy, you know. But the point is, listen, come at camp when we're going to be at camp in Calgary in the near future. That's one thing you could do. You understand? Of course, tune into La Pura Neta as of next week, going to be every single Wednesday though, right? But listen, you were not out of line or whatever the case is, you know. Shit.
We'll match that. Want to come at us foul? We'll come back foul. You come at us.
We're matching the energy.
Come at you respectfully. You know what I mean? You
basically,
have some.
You understand?
We'll have some decorum with you. You know, but here's the thing: it's not even about being easy on you. It's just we're telling you the truth. We're just breaking it down because, you know, we don't. Our goal is to wake our people up, man. You know what I mean? I want justice for my people. I want justice for blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans for what they suffered at the hands of white people, at the hands of the Asians, at the hands of all the nations. You know what I mean? It's not a personal hatred. Like I said, none of this is personal. And there's no such, let me say it, there's no such thing as racism towards white people. Okay? No such thing.
Salaki one. I think this is a question we might have Mikey answer. Is there a such thing as racism against white people, Mikey?
Right. Oh, let me come. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Right. Go ahead, Mikey. Answer that.
Mikey, if you could answer that, because you've been honest so far. So is there any such thing as racism against white people? You know, we're going to give him a few seconds to answer. He's interacting in the chat. You know, is there anyone who in the chat besides Mikey? Because we
say yes.
Mikey in the chat. Wait, yes?
Yes, he thinks there's
Mikey.
racism.
Mikey, listen, we give him the benefit of the doubt. Mikey, what's going on? I'm Salaki Adawan. Salaki Adawan. I'm gonna say let's try to give him the benefit where explain yourself. Explain yourself. Go ahead. Explain yourself. How is there racism against white people? Explain yourself. You understand? And if you let me help you out, Mikey. Don't say anything about white on right crime, where the Americans don't like the Russians and vice versa, whatever the case is. Explain how can we be racist or prejudiced against white people, or like a TikTok, Caucasians, bleachers. TikTok is gonna end up banning my account because I say white people and shit like that all the time. Mikey, if you don't mind, you know you can come on camera and explain yourself instead of typing, eh? It's gonna be faster. If not, it is what it is, but explain yourself. How is there racism against white people? You know, don't have to be long-winded about it. You understand? Is it because we say white people can't cook? I'm trying to understand. Is it because of the movie White Man Can't Jump? Back to slavery for whites who didn't agree with it. How was that racism?
Explain, Mikey.
See,
explain.
I understand. Mikey's confused.
Yeah, he's confused. Let me say this, Brock Outlet.
Mikey grew up in a utopia.
Yeah.
It's like go ahead, Ottawa.
I'll say. There's no such thing as racism towards white people. I'll say it again. There's no such thing as racism towards white people. Because let me say this, man. Everything that you described right now, Mikey, with your slavery and everything that y'all suffered, that's white on white crime. That's, that's you oppressing your own race of people. That's one. Two, all the anger, all the hatred white people get today is because y'all oppress other races. Y'all are racist towards other races. So everything that you're getting, the animosity, right?
So like the other one. Let me answer that if I may, other one.
Just let me finish talking and I'll give you the floor. The animosity that you just wrote right now, Mikey, is because of the crimes y'all do, not because of your race, not because you're blonde haired and blue eyed. You know what I mean? It's because the evil your nation does to my nation. That's why you're getting hatred. So no, it's not racist. You know what I mean? Is the victim of a robbery as evil as the robber for hating the robber that stole their money? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Is he just as bad as the robber for hating the robber for taking his money because the robber has not returned it? No. So that's our situation. That's the situation with white people. You're hated because you have not given back what you stolen. You have not made right what y'all have done wrong. So like, y'all, give me the floor out.
Salakia, when just that comment he said it's the animosity toward whites from blacks that haven't hurt blacks. Even said after you trying to explain to him that it's not racist, it's complicated. It's not complicated because even today in the Middle East, a lot of them they despise Caucasian people. It's not about their white skin. It's about the Caucasian people who invaded the Middle East, talking about we're looking for weapons of mass destruction, but there was nothing to look for. Y'all just sexually assaulted a lot of women, kidnapped kids, and wanted to build a opium and oil business. You understand? Right. Like y'all are oppressing all the nations of the face. Listen, they say America is the most hated nation on the face of the earth, which is true. But they're really trying to say it's white. I'm gonna just say it like that. TikTok ban me or not, I don't care. It's white people that are disliked on the face of the earth. Why? Because it's not about being white. It has nothing to do. It's because you committed genocide across the whole planet. You could have been the green man. They would have said, "Well, we don't like the green man."
Right.
You could have been the blue bastard. They said, "We don't like the blue bastard." It has nothing to do with being Caucasian. It happens to be that you are the Caucasian people. It happens to be that we call themselves white people. It is. Listen, plus that it's just the name that you gave yourself because the Bible calls yourself Edomites. You understand? It's not about being white.
Right.
You understand? And I'm gonna tell you why it's not even about being white. Bob Marley is as guilty as you are. Bob Marley is not white, but he is an Edomite just like you because you are the seed of your father according to the Bible. Right. You understand? I don't know if you've seen the movie Blood In, Blood Out, but Paco, he is a Caucasian man.
Right.
You understand? It's not about your skin tone. It's not about it's not about your hair texture. It's not about the color of your eyes, right? It's about the crimes that your forefather committed. Like, just to give you context, we're telling you about what happened throughout the face of the earth, but we don't give a damn about the heathens. It's their business. It's their problem. What happened to us is what we really care about. It's for the purpose of context. Listen, it's not even, it don't matter if your father is from Wales. As a matter of fact, just a quick side note, just so you know, the people from Wales and the Ireland and Scotland, you understand, the UK, did you know that you appropriated your people appropriated the term European in the sense where Europe was ruled by people of color until your people came out the Caucasus Mountain, the caves, and spread it throughout the European continent and slaughtered the people of color over there. You know not the reason why your father is from Wales is because his forefathers slaughtered the people that were staying over there before. You understand? Yeah, it's not, you know, you're not being denied in a restaurant, or you're not being denied in a swimming pool because you're a Caucasian.
Right.
You're not being told to sit in the back of the bus because you're Caucasian.
Right.
You're not being told to give up your seat in 2023 because you're Caucasian. You're not even being lynched because you're Caucasian. You're not being. Where are you being unalived because you're Caucasian?
Right.
You understand? It's not complicated. Like, you're just right now, your people are just feeling the repercussion. You understand? And the result, the aftermath of the crimes of your forefathers. You understand? It bounces back. You're just feeling the recoil of all the crimes your forefathers committed throughout the face of the earth, especially against our people.
Right.
Like, when you hear a brother of color saying, well, I don't like white people. Why? Because they're oppressing my people. Well, you're not oppressed. Well, listen, we have, even up till today, we still have gentrification in our neighborhoods. The prices of apartments and houses are skyrocketing. We still have redlining. We still have drugs in our neighborhoods. They never left, and they're still coming in. And that's because of your people. It's not personal. It's not racist. You understand? So when you meet a German, do you ask him if he likes Jews? No. First of all, we know he doesn't, because I'm Kamakan. Salaki out of one. Go ahead, out of one.
Real quick. He said, so when you meet a German, do you ask him if he likes Jews? I don't have to. You know what I do? What I have to ask? Ask a Jewish man if he likes Germans. Ask a Jewish man if he likes Nazis. And does that make him racist? Ask the Armenians if they like the Turks. See if that makes them racist. Ask the Palestinians if they like the Israelis. Does that make them racist? Why is it? Let me Yiddish people. Does that make them racist? Why is it that we are not allowed to hate the oppressor? Why is it that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are not allowed to hate the oppressor? Why is there always an excuse? You put it in the comments right now. You talk about, if I wasn't born in this race. I didn't. What is it? Just because I was born in this race, that doesn't mean I did anything wrong. You inherited stolen goods, Mikey. You're living in America. How did America get obtained? How were you able to come here today? By bloodshed. Your ancestors had to kill. Your great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy and his people had to come over here and unalive and steal and pillage and plunder for you to be able to come to Canada today.
So, lucky if I may, out of one.
I got you out. That's not personal. That's not, you know what I mean? I'm sure you probably, I don't know how you are, if you're the nicest person in the world, but that doesn't change the reality that the only reason why you're here today is because my people had to die.
Damn right. So, like, if I may, out of one, just to talk on what you said, you understand? It's like, listen, saying that question was not formulated the right way. I mean, it was formulated the white way, though. So, like, I had to do it. You understand? But just like Malama said, you would not ask, why don't you ask a Jewish man, the Yiddish man, if he loves the Germans or the Nazis? You understand? Why don't you ask the Aborigines in Australia if they like the people who call themselves Australians today? You understand? How about that? And let me clarify two things. Any nation who is not an Israelite, meaning a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian, descended from their father's side, is an oppressor. You understand? You don't have to be a Caucasian to be oppressor. Caucasian are just the oppressor of oppressors. The Arabs are oppressors. The Chinese, the Asians are oppressors. The East Indians are oppressors. all the nation who is not a part of the 12 tribes are oppressors. You understand? And to clarify, the Yiddish man that you see in the state of what is right next to Palestine today is not the real one.
Right.
We are the black so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the true biblical Jews that you understand, of antiquity. Those that you see next to Palestine are just imposters. They're just a mix of Germans, Russians, or whatever Europeans out there that converted. And I think, if not, I'm not mistaken, like the 4th century, whatever. It's not a history class, so we're gonna have to get back to you with the proper dates, whatever the case is. They converted. They created their own religion. They're not even speaking Hebrew. They're speaking Yiddish, which is a mix of Slavic, other European, Caucasian languages. You understand? They're a bootleg. That's what I'm saying. They're a bootleg. So like
imitation.
they're copycats. They're damn near made in China.
See,
you understand?
If I could real quick, I see what Mikey's saying. He said Europeans try to conquer, and that's how the world was. See, that's the proof. That's the proof of your lack of compassion. That's the proof of, you said whites are evil, we're evil. You saying that today proves that y'all still are evil. Everything that you're saying right here is evil. You know what I mean? And compassionate, man. How you gonna tell the people? Well, everyone was doing it back then.
Salakia one. Not only that, it's like, first of all, he said it's so easy to say what you're saying, but you're talking about history, not present.
Right.
In 2023, we're still getting lynched we're still getting lynched in 2023. About history, not present. Presently, the indigenous people are still on reservation. You understand?
Because it's not the truth, Mikey. That's a lie. It's not history. What's going on right now, as we brought out earlier, is not history. That's present. So what DeSantis is doing, right, with our people, separating them, splitting up families, and using my people as political props, is not history. The deaths of Trayvon Martin, the deaths of John Hernandez, the victims of El Paso, of Gilroy, of Buffalo, the 2 women that they won't even go and dig them up because they don't want to go and it's too toxic all of a sudden, is not history.
Hey, Salakia, let me reply to that comment real quick. He said he wished he could reset it, and that he works in reserve helping indigenous people every day in Canada. Listen, there's 2 things you could do. First off, because I'm pretty sure, as a Canadian, as a white Canadian, you're aware of it. There's a lot of your people impersonating or claiming to be indigenous because their great-great-grandmother was raped and, for indigenous.
Salakia, I don't mean to interrupt you. This is one thing you want to touch on that. He said he works in the reserve helping indigenous every day, right? So you see every day how indigenous people are. You see the conditions every day that they suffer. And you're going to say that's not present? That's history? You're talking about I'm letting you off easy. You're not getting off easy, man. You know what I'm saying? You're proving how you're a devil. You know what I mean? Saying that. Go ahead, Salakia.
Salakia, I'm just going to say this. Mikey, what you could do, first of all, is tell all your people who are posing as indigenous to stop posing as indigenous, because they're not. Not because they had a grandmother somewhere or a great-grandmother that was indigenous. It was probably in the same situation as Pocahontas. Instead, that means they're indigenous. You are the seed of your father. That's number 1. Second, what you could do is let them know to tune into every single ISUPK classes, in that we are coming to Calgary, throughout Canada. Wherever they are, we will be. You understand? Tell them to tune into La Pura Neta. Tell them to tune into ISUPK Canada, ISUPK Toronto, ISUPK Montreal, on all social media. That's what you could tell them to do if you're on indigenous reservation all the time. This is where you work. You
Right.
understand? Let them know to let them know to contact us, right? Because we're not just going to give them the truth. We have all types of services for them. So let them know to get with us. You understand? And what he said, yes, I do, and I help them every step of the way. That's no sweat. Do your due diligence and just tell them to contact the ISUPK. That's what you could do. Tell them to go on ISUPK.com, on all social medias, ISUPK Canada, on Facebook, Instagram, ISUPK Toronto, Montreal.
Right.
You understand? La Pura Neta podcast. We're going to be here every Wednesday as of next week, right?
Right.
That's no sweat. You understand? But again, just to say that what we're talking about is in history, it's all, it's not present. Well, presently, you are working on a Native Indian reservation. And the reason why they're still on a reservation presently is because your people committed a genocide and a continental-wide gentrification, as a matter of fact. You understand? On those people. Salakia. And those people are my people because we're the same people. But good night. We've been here for like 2 hours already.
Yeah, we
understand. Yeah, we're about to close it, right? Anyone has any more questions or comments, put it in the chat, whatever the case is. We're about to end it. And like we said, from next week, we're going to be here every single Wednesday instead of Mondays. We had a good run every single Monday night. We're going to bring it out every single Wednesday as of next week. You understand? Anyone listen? Y'all. Anyone listen? Don't be shy. Mikey wasn't shy. You understand? He came in the chat.
Right.
He tried to be as honest as he could. You understand? He said, great chat. No sweat. He's honest. No sweat.
He must be a glutton
no sweat.
Mikey.
No sweat. Mikey, I think Mikey knows the scriptures where it says, when the wicked rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous rule, people rejoice.
Right.
He's waiting for it. He's like, you know what? I can't wait for the niggas and spicks and savages to rule the world.
He's the Steven.
Like, listen.
In Django, Steven's character, he's gonna be the white version of Steven. It would be.
He's like, I could care less. I know who I am. Yeah, we just let you know. Good night. Good night. No sweat, but tune in next Wednesday because we're gonna be live on Wednesday as of now. You understand? We're about to close it out. Last few comments. Anything you want to say, Adawan? Salakia?
You already know. Hey man, it was every Monday night. We're going to be switching it over to Wednesday night going forward. La Pura Neta UPK, La Pura Neta podcast, the only voice of the raza, right here with mighty Priest Officer 500 Parakiala out of Canada, myself, Priest Officer 500 Malakma, Southern California. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep rocking it out, bringing this truth out, you know what I mean? Uplifting our raza, uplifting so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You already know. Tune in. Keep an eye out for everything. You know what I mean? Shows, clips, all that. We're gonna have that coming up, man. We're gonna fill this channel up. Be on the lookout for all the other podcasts that are out there, all the classes in your zones. ISUPK.com. More importantly than anything, pay your tithes. Help support this nation.
Yeah, right.
The ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Jordan Yahana, and it's the only home of the truth.
Damn right.
Ya sabes, raza.
Hey, with that said, you understand, never forget, nunca olvides, you understand that the oppressed should never love, trust, or integrate with his oppressor. Never, nunca. You understand? And never forget, Blamana, c'est diable. You understand? Le béquet, l'homme blanc, tout béquet. Damn right, tout béquet, l'homme blanc, ce sont les diables dont parle la Bible. El hombre blanco es el pinche malparido, maldito diablo que habla la Biblia. And the oppressor, the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. With that said, Israel, shalom ya bashim ya shabrakatam ya washama atam bashim ya washai. We will see you next Wednesday. Shalom.
That's true. They are trying to, suppress our mental health. I mean, oppression will do that, right? As the scriptures say, right? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Lord, one of the curses was that we're gonna be, struck down with madness, right? Our mental health is at risk because we're oppressed, and we get, we go through all types of hell here in America. We got all types of madness thrown on us, right? We're told we're not allowed to get angry about the oppression that America does to us. We have to accept the abuse, right, and be thankful for it. We can never hate our oppressor. So you can only imagine the effect that has on your mental health.